Hello, it's Ryan from 2minutetennis.net, and in this video, I'm going to help you hit topspin forehands like the pros. Please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. Even share this video with a friend, as those are the best ways to support this channel. So excited for you. Let's get right to the footage here. I got some real footage of Federer, Nadal, Felix Auger-Aliassime, and Khachanov. I'm going to show you exactly the upward angle they use to hit incredible topspin forehands. So we have Khachanov on the left, Felix Auger-Aliassime on the right. And let's check out Khachanov first. He's on the run, hitting a topspin forehand. And we're going to use, actually, the bottom of the fence behind him in this video in order to draw a straight line for level. And then we're going to talk about the upward angle he uses in his swing path. And we can see his upward swing path is very steep. Most recreational players who struggle hitting forehands consistently and with topspin have their swing way too level. They swing toward their target. The pros do not swing toward their target, but rather they swing up. And you can see on this forehand, he actually finishes up above his head, kind of the way Nadal does on many of his forehands. But that upward swing is what is going to produce all of that topspin for control. So let's check out Felix here. We're going to do the exact same thing. First, we'll draw level, and then we'll move him up. And we'll see now he's at 64 degrees. Now, here's the interesting thing. He is really swinging up. But unlike Khachanov, who on the left you'll see finished up above his head, Felix actually finishes down to the side of his shoulder. The upward swing angle you have really doesn't have anything to do with where you finish. You can finish up above your head, or you can finish down over on your shoulder, but the idea here is you have to make sure that you are swinging up. Again, just like Khachanov, this is how Auger-Aliassime is going to put all that topspin on the ball. Now, there's really no introduction needed for these players. Here on the left, you'll see Federer moving around this ball. And if we actually just let this whole video play out, you can see he smokes this ball and he actually ends the rally. So he hits a winner on this shot. So he steps around this ball. And I want you to watch the angle, the upward angle he uses for this swing. So here's level. And let's look at his upward swing angle. Incredible, right? Now, he stepped around this, and when I first watched this, my eyes actually played a trick on me, and I was like, oh, wow, this is really level. Like, this is more level than we just saw Khachanov and Auger-Aliassime do, but it's not true. Now, he finishes quite low, but the upward swing is what makes this shot so incredible. The amount of spin that he's putting on this ball. Let's look at Nadal. There's level. And let's watch him swing up. Same exact angle. That's incredible. And then he finishes above his head. You know, whether you finish up above your head or you finish, lower the way Federer does, the upward angle on the swing can be very, very similar. This is how the pros are getting so much spin. So simply stated, tennis rewards players who swing up as they hit the ball. Tennis is not a level game where you put your racket at the level of contact and go straight in. That's not how you're going to hit your most consistent shots. Rather than that, make sure your racket is below contact prior to hitting, then above contact afterward. So there's a rather steep incline as you're striking the ball. When you hit the ball properly, the ball will spin over itself. You can see that with the Topspin Pro. Don't swing into the back. You can see if I go flat into the back, the ball has no spin. But watch this. I'm below, then above, below, then above. And I'm actually leading with the edge as if I'm going to try to hit the ball with the edge of the racket, which is a concept that I give my students if they're really struggling with topspin. I'll feed them a ball and I'll actually ask them to use the top edge of the racket against the bottom of the ball and actually purposely try to frame the ball, making the ball go up in the air. What they normally do is they miss the edge and they roll up the back and they actually end up hitting the ball exactly the way the pros just did in those videos. So a couple more concepts that are going to help you hit topspin like the pros. First, you need racket speed. You need racket speed. So I know we're talking about swing low to high, but don't just put your racket low. Take it back high and use a circular C swing. When you use the C swing, you can build up energy on itself. If you go down, the racket has to stop and then go back up again and you lose all your racket speed. So take it back high and you'll get a lot more racket speed. The next thing is you have to make sure that when you're drawing that letter C, that the bottom of the C doesn't go straight to the ball, but that the bottom of the C is lower than contact and you come back up to hit. So draw your circular swing. You can see I'm doing it with two hands at the beginning. I turn high with both hands, unit turn, and then I drop below the ball so that I'm forced to swing low to high just to even make contact. The next thing is we have to make sure that your racket is closed. This is so important. You don't want your racket straight up and down on edge in the back, as if I could take a coin and balance it on the frame. All that leads to is having your racket face open at contact, or if you're really athletic, you'll actually start to develop this roll as you get to the ball to try to square up the racket to get the ball to go forward over the net. But it's too hard to time and it's too inconsistent. Rather than that, make sure your strings are tilted down at about 45 degrees, but it really depends on what grip you use as well. But tilt your strings down prior to contact. That'll ensure that without much manipulation at all with the wrist, your strings are going to face forward, or depending on how fast you swing, you can even get away with a racket face that is a few degrees closed, really leading up with the edge and brushing, and the ball will still go over the net. And then last, you have to make sure, and I'll show you this actually facing you, you have to make sure that you swing up after contact. We just saw that. The upward swing. Topspin is a vertical spin with a horizontal axis. You're only going to make a ball spin vertically with a vertical swing. You can't swing horizontally and get the ball to spin vertically. So you have to swing up. So what I tell my students is, after contact, go up. I know it seems so simple, right? But I tell them and they go, oh, makes so much sense, because they normally will swing across. So after you hit the ball, go up. I have a ceiling here. I'm only 5'8", but I can touch the ceiling even with my hand. So watch this. I'm in my basement here. I'm going to put my racket on the ball, and now I'm going to go straight up to the ceiling. I'm actually going to move my racket up. That's the direction we want to hit the ball. I know that we saw Federer finish here. I know that we saw Khachanov and Nadal finish here, and Auger-Aliassime was here. But they all swung up severely while hitting the ball. That's the key, swing up. And a lot of people say, well, if it doesn't matter, then why can't I finish here? Well, we're not pro athletes and we're not pro tennis players. And in your attempt to finish by your hip, you might actually just go directly there, especially if it's at an inopportune time and all of a sudden like you're doing it in a very important match. That's why I teach go up. That ensures that you're going up as you hit. If contact point is point A, the upward swing is point B, and then the follow through down here is point C, your brain at a time you don't want it to might say, let's take a shortcut and just go from A to C. And all of a sudden you get side spin and the ball sprays because it doesn't have enough spin to pull down and you're inconsistent. This is why I teach the upward swing. And the angle you just saw from all four of those players, the upward angle kind of proves that you've got to be going up as you're striking the ball. I want you to film yourself. You could even get the app. I'll actually put it right here, a picture of it right here. Get the app Coach's Eye. It's the app that I use in order to show you that pro footage. Film yourself hitting forehands and then use the angle tool that comes with that app to see if you are swinging up the way the pros do. This is what I do with all my clients. On court, I film them and I look at it and I show them what they're doing versus the pros. If you start making sure that you use a circular swing, drop down below the ball, tilt your strings down, and swing up severely as you're striking the ball, there's no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. You got this.